People who bought homes leasehold from Taylor Wimpey with ground rents that make them impossible to sell are accusing the company of dragging its feet over helping them. The problem with the ground rents is that they double every 10 years. MPs have called it a racket, and the Housing Minister, Gavin Barwell, warned developers to stop selling new homes leasehold. Taylor Wimpey promised to review all the cases where customers are landed with these leases and ground rents, but now say nothing will come of that until April. Melanie Abbott's been following this story. Melanie, where are these houses?
Many are in the northwest of England. Some are starter homes bought under the government's Help to Buy scheme. We don't know how many homes are affected in total, but it is thousands. They were sold by Taylor Wimpey between 2007 and 2011. The problem with the ground rents only emerged as people tried to sell them. Last November we went to see Claire Scott in Bolton. The sale of her home fell through last year because of this problem with the ground rent.
This is our house, the middle one, number 25, which we've had to rent out now because we couldn't sell it earlier this year. As it turned out, we completed on the house that we wanted as this one fell through. And this one fell through due to advice from solicitors to our buyers that they shouldn't buy it at all because of this lease clause that we didn't know even existed on it, which was that the ground rent of £295 a year doubles every 10 years until it reaches nearly £10,000 by 2060 a year. We got all our paperwork out and lo and behold it does state that clause, but at no point was it raised to us by our solicitors.
Claire Scott and other buyers use solicitors recommended by Taylor Wimpey. These buyers have gone to their MPs for help, who've spoken out about it in the Commons, calling it a scandal and the PPI of the housing industry.
And now Taylor Wimpey's being accused of dragging its feet.
Well, yes, when we first reported this, Taylor Wimpey told us they hadn't realised these contracts were a problem. They said they'd talked to all the leaseholders as part of a review, and they have been visiting people, but now they've told them not to expect any news until the end of April.
Why can't Taylor Wimpey just sell these people the freeholds and free them from these ground rents that way?
Because, and this is where it gets more complicated, Taylor Wimpey has now sold on these freeholds to investment firms. Another home owner on that estate in Bolton, Joe Derbyshire, says Taylor Wimpey told her when she bought the house that she could buy her freehold for £5,000 to £6,000. But that's not what the investment firm wants for it.
The sale of the leasehold onto an investment company had resulted in the cost of us being able to buy the freehold rising from that £5,000 to £6,000 to over £40,000. We would either need to take a £40,000 drop in the value of our house to sell it or find £40,000 ourselves, which obviously we don't have.
And when you bought the house, what did they say to you about the possibility of buying the freehold then?
They just said that we could buy it at any point in the future and the cost of it would be around £5,000 to £6,000.
Did you have any idea before then it had been sold on?
We did know because we were paying the ground rent to somebody else, but we had no idea what the implications of that sale would be. If we want to do any work on the house, for example, put a small conservatory or something on it, then the company that owns it now want more than £2,500 in fees on top of all the costs of actually making the home alterations yourself. Had we been given any kind of informed choice as to what would happen once the lease had been sold, then we would absolutely have found the money at the time to buy it ourselves. My house was amongst the sale of 24 other houses. The value of the lease when it was sold to the investment company, it was sold for £4,875. Well, if Taylor Wimpey would have offered me the opportunity to buy it at £4,875, then I would have taken it then had I known the consequences of what would happen when it was sold.
What does Taylor Wimpey say about all that, Mel?
Well, back then, Taylor Wimpey only guaranteed new homeowners the right to buy the freehold for 3 months after buying the house. Last year, this was changed to 5 years. And in January this year, Taylor Wimpey stopped building leasehold homes. Sebastian O'Kelly from the charity Leasehold Knowledge Partnerships is helping homeowners with all of this, and he says the latest delay of the review until the end of April is piling misery on injustice.
They were told it was going to be completed by the end of March, and today we've learnt that Taylor Wimpey has paid out dividends to shareholders last year equivalent to more than $25,000 for every home that was built. That's from Construction News. This delay of a review, which began in November, is just not acceptable. What does it tell you about their practices that they've stopped selling leasehold houses from January the 1st. Surely it means things have been very badly wrong indeed. I'm very glad that Taylor Wimpey is sorting out the problem, but these changes of policy are great twists of the steering wheel, and they indicate that Taylor Wimpey has got things badly wrong.
Melanie, why might Taylor Wimpey be delaying now?
They told us they want to do a thorough review to understand the best way to help. But some think they may be delaying to see what the government expects. A fairer deal for leaseholders was mentioned in the housing strategy released last month, but there were no details.
Melanie Abbott, thank you.